A lot of shit on the news. They try to label us as terrorists, some type of like de facto military, like militia. And I've been out here for the last couple of days, and that's not what I'm seeing at all. I don't think that's what any of you are seeing. But I saw some shit this morning. I saw the chief of police say she was making a point about response times ever since they left the precinct here. She said something to the effect of the response times to crisis or crimes or whatever has tripled. Exactly, that's bullshit. My question, and I think it's a question we should pose to the mayor and the chief of police, is what were those response times when they were out here for 2 weeks tear gassing and brutalizing us? That's basically all I gotta say. I want to see you guys keep coming out here, and don't forget it's every day.
What's up, everybody? My name is Renaissance. I'm a local artist. I really didn't think I was going to be up here today, but this is not the country I fought for. I served 4 years in the Marine Corps. I have an 8-year-old baby girl, and I have been out here getting gas for days because I'm scared shitless of the world she's going to grow up in. It falls on each of you. If you are thinking about being a parent, if you are a parent, it falls because their skin looks differently. But we like the same things. Mommy, daddy, please. That person that loves me doesn't see a human being. They see something they hate passionately. That seed has just been sown, takes hold and begins to grow. What the eyes see once cannot be unshown. It becomes the world they know. Sight becomes a double-edged sword. The blind cannot see our imaginary lines. They are not bound by our imaginary ties. They must measure by what they find inside. They take measure in who you are in their mind. Close your eyes and give sight to the blind. Thank you.
Well, good evening, everybody. I have a few things to say. Up until a few days ago, I was buying into the rhetoric the media was spreading about this being some sort of gathering of, well, what they call terrorists. But after coming here myself and seeing everybody united together, people from all walks of life, different colors, the whole community, the whole city here staying together, I am inspired, to say the least, sitting here. And I believe that this movement cannot end after everyone gets back to normal. If we keep this going, and we must, we have a possibility for some real change here. And we cannot let anything distract us from our goal. I believe that. We must stand in the face of anything that the government, the city, that fucking asshole in the White House is telling us. We have to be strong and stand together. I believe we will. That's all I have to say. Hope you have a good night. Stay safe.
I am here to stay with y'all, but I am also here not only to defund SPD, but to abolish ICE. Now I'm going to address Latinos, the Latinas, and Latinx. We have another important task. I saw y'all on the front lines fighting police brutality and racism in the streets. But we also have a fight to racism within our households. There's anti-blackness within our community, and it is our job to dismantle that shit, to prevent that shit to spread more like this fucking virus we got going on. Thank you.
My name is James Jackson, and I'm pansexual. And I want to talk to everyone in this audience who is part of the LGBTQ community. And I want to talk about the people that came before us. If you're queer today, we've got it pretty good. We get to have parades, we get to be out at work, as long as we feel comfortable, as long as our work makes it comfortable. It's not easy, but we get to do those things. But I want to remind you, if you're queer in this audience, I want to remind you. If you're not, I want to remind you. We are only one generation away from queer people living in San Francisco carrying rape whistles with them wherever they went, because if the police came to beat them up, they could blow it, and the community would come out and protect them. I also want to remind you how much trans queer women of color have been at the forefront of fighting for your rights. If you are a queer person and you don't know who Marsha P. Johnson is or Sylvia Rivera, you should learn, because they fought for you and you owe them a debt. We can never go back and pay that debt to those people that came out in the streets and fought for our rights, fought for our ability to be out in public, who made what we get to have happen, but we do get to pay it forward. We get to pay it forward by being here and by fighting for all other injustice, because Black lives matter. That's all I have to say.
Let's center the Black voices.
Hi, y'all. Yeah, I just have 2 points. One, I appreciate what they talked about, because like I have seen within the LGBT community here in Seattle, I actually really appreciate this happening during Pride Month, because Pride was actually a riot. Pride was a protest against police brutality. Pride was to go against those same systems that oppress anyone who is different, anyone who is not the same as the white man, the white cis man. And I've seen within Seattle, there is this belief that the LGBTQ community is not the same as or part of communities of color or Black people. The thing is there's intersectionality within all of us. And we should center those voices, those people, those identities that intersect with the most oppressed. Because they're the ones who are getting shot, they're the ones who are getting killed. You can, trans women of color, trans women, trans men. We saw the other day, I can't remember his name, but he was killed during a riot, during a police riot. I'm gonna call it that, because it is. It's a police riot. Next, I want to talk about what we're gonna do next, because we, like many of people have said here, we can't just sit in here on our ass, talking and having a circle jerk. No offense, but I really appreciate this. But I really appreciate what that gentleman said about his son and Brad Richardson, the SPD officer. We could make a list of police officers who have done some really fucked up things, and I'm sure that'd be a really long fucking list. And we can say, we want their records, we want them gone. We can say hey, let's get rid of Mayor Durkin. Let me tell you about this bitch. So this bitch, she ain't just about this shit, because she's the one who empowered the police to crack down on protesters. She's the one who empowered them to tear gas and rubber bullets. It's not our city council, it's her. She's been empowered by that white, trans, fucking LGBT community here, because we see a fucking flag go up and we gotta be like, oh, she's all for us, while she's empowering that same system of oppression. Fuck her. She refuses to fund the homeless community. I work for DSC, and I work for the union in that. And she systematically tries to defund the homeless community, the homeless funds that go in there. That's a system of oppression. She fights for those for the camps to be gotten rid of. But why don't we actually tax Amazon? She's the one who said, let's not get affordable housing. Let's let Amazon donate and act like they're fucking... Black Lives Matter! Yes. But we have to create change, and we can't see this same bullshit happening, and we can't sit here. We actually have to do something, and we have to get rid of those symbols, but also the systems in place that empower them. And that includes Mayor Durkin, who's just a continuation of the same bullshit. And DSA, Democratic Socialists of America, they're over there, at least they were yesterday, signed petitions to get rid of Mayor Durkin and defund the police. Because you know what? Fuck them all, and Black Lives Matter.
Let's see, the lights went out, it's starting to get late, some people are going home. As everyone who's been here every day knows that this is a 24-hour thing. We're protesting every day, every night. We're going to be here. We're going to facilitate another discussion right in front of the precinct at, I believe that's 12th and Pine. Anyone who has access to a megaphone or a microphone, we're going to start another discussion over there. This is a protest. We're staying here until you got to remember, we protected the precinct because we're turning it into a community center. When we abolish the police, we're turning the police station into a community center. We're going to redirect those funds and everything. So anyone who has a microphone or a megaphone, we're going to start another discussion in the light, in the intersection, because this is our area right now. This is our protest. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. I just came here, I wanted to talk about the 16-year-old girl said when she was up on stage, she wanted to know how could we have been doing this for 300 years and not have equality. And so I just wanted to talk a little bit, just for a minute, just about history, about how are we still here? Because we actually, if you look throughout history, this has happened a lot. We've had a lot of gatherings, we've had a lot of protests, we've had a lot of marches. And anytime we start making progress, anytime we start getting organized, the system gets heavily violent. And that's 60s, that's 1800s. So what I want to say is that we need to know that if we get to that next step, if it's not just out here protesting, whatever, the system is going to respond the way that the system has always responded, with violence. And whether it's the police or some crazy redneck, on his own, we have to expect that to happen and be ready for that to happen, because that's how we've always hit that wall. always. And so the next thing I want to say, just everyone keeps talking about what are we going to do, what's the next step, where do we go from here? And the truth is, it's got to be local. If you're from Pierce County, you need to be finding out who is from Pierce County. Here, right now. Everyone you talk to, you should be going, hey, my name is Chris. My name is Chris. I'm from King County, and I will be voting for so-and-so. Or just, I'm from King County, here's my email address. We need people's email addresses from the counties that you're in, so that when we vote, it's not a freaking drips from a faucet. We need to be a goddamn tidal wave. It needs to be undeniable. And the only way that happens, only way that's gonna happen is if right now we start organizing. If right now we put as much energy into doing the work at home as we are putting into coming out here and supporting everyone and being positive. That's literally the only way this is going to happen. Literally. That's all I wanted to say, guys. Thank you so much.
Whoa!
Thanks, brother. Hey, so actually I'm not going to introduce myself by name here. I want to talk to you today about tear gas. A lot of people talking about tear gas. I was tear gassed many years ago at Standing Rock. It was possibly the most terrifying experience of my life. And I feel that one thing that's missing from the narrative here is an explanation of what that actually feels like. I've spoken to several police officers up at the line. I've asked them if they've ever been tear gassed before. The answer I've consistently got is no, we haven't. We're not exposed to tear gas as part of our training. Some of us have been to the military and have experienced tear gas through our military training, but as police, we don't know. Most people have no idea what it feels like to be tear gassed. Can I get a raise of hands? Has anyone here been tear gassed in the last week? How many of you who are raising your hands feel that this statement applies to that? I thought I was going to die. It feels like that. I've heard a lot of people say that. Your throat closes. Your eyes start burning, but particularly your throat closes and you can't breathe. When I was at Standing Rock, I saw a tear gas canister lob over the line. It exploded. It wasn't a glass ball. It just started leaking tear gas, and it came up. My throat closed. It was a single breath. My throat closed, and I recognized if I did not run, I was going to die there. I probably would have. I was very fortunate to be able to get away at that time. So here's what I have to ask of you. If you have been tear gassed, I want you to talk about it. Tell your parents, tell your friends, tell your grandparents, post something on Facebook. Let's go with #teargas. I'm gonna tell you one little story. So I was here, I was sleeping in my hammock, about 1 o'clock in the morning. I was really excited about getting a night of rest because I hadn't been sleeping very much. And concussion grenades.
I'm just saying that we're all headed toward the precinct now with a mic and an amp. Y'all can stay here and get through the speakers, but I just was told to make the announcement that we are now moving towards the precinct.
So concussion grenades, not concussion grenades, blast balls started exploding over there, woke me up. I see people start running. I don't smell the tear gas, but I hear the screams. I see people running blind. And then I started to breathe in the tear gas, and I started spitting, and my eyes started burning, my throat started closing. I had to run, just like everybody else does. I've never seen that much tear gas in my life. Oh my God. How do you think you need that much tear gas to disperse a crowd on one street that you have to fill the entire park and all these apartment buildings everywhere around us with tear gas? I've talked to some of the people that live there. They're like, crap, I got tear gas in my apartment. What the fuck? Okay, so I see people streaming out. They come out onto Broadway. I saw several people running blind. Thankfully, they have people who could see who were guiding them. I saw one young woman out on Broadway in front of Dick's Drive-In. She was running. She was by herself. Yeah, I'm gonna seed this off. #tear gas. Talk about it. form that narrative. Thank you.
So I'm going to make this very, very short and sweet because we all need to be on the other side. Right now, all I want to say is that if you're here in this park, in this movement, you need to be registered to vote. You need to vote. Because the only way things are going to change is we exercise our right to vote. People have died for it. People have bled for it. People have given up their own prison life to do it. So we need to vote. It's not about who I love and I gotta marry him. It's about getting to where you need to be. Voting is a bus ride. It's not a marriage. It's a transportation to where you want to be. And if you don't get all the way, get off the bus and get another. But everybody needs to vote. There's no opting out. Every single person who's like, I'm opting out because I don't like the candidates, this right now is the produce of every person who opted out for 2016. Hard reality. This is the reality and what happens. You need to vote. You need to vote in city council. You need to start getting involved in your school board, in your city planners. Yes, we're all moving over. Vote your conscience. Vote who you want to. I'm not telling you to vote for. Those are the two choices we have at this moment. You vote for the two people, one of the two people that you can get on the bus with. No. I spent 45 years of my life in this state. 45 years of my life. Fighting every day for people to have their own rights heard, people have equality, to be seen as a person. And no, I don't love Trump. You know, I'm not in love with Biden. But I'm not going to not vote because I don't like either one of them. You know who wins? You know who wins when we don't vote? Tyrannists win. People who don't want us to have equal rights win. People who don't want to have us voice win. You need to vote. I don't care if you don't like the candidate. He doesn't meet all your check needs. You need to vote. And more importantly, city council, local government, King County, the state of Washington. You have to vote for our people. You have to vote. You have to vote for the judges. Yes, and prosecutors, because they're on the ballot. You need to vote. Opting out is not an option. It's not okay. You have to vote. If you don't like what was happening to Black lives, what was happening to Indigenous people, what was happening to us, you have to vote. Say